What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledPeople. Alright, this story's called Creepy Guy Comes Into My Store and Threatens to Stalk Me Home. Feels because I smiled I was hitting on him. I've been sitting on this story for a while, and I think now I'm finally ready to tell it. Here's the cast. Entitled Creep. Me. Amazing Dad. My dad. Phone kiosk guy. There was a kiosk right outside the store. Also good to know that I have ADHD, which means I also have difficulty managing emotions, and I take things to heart very quickly. So I worked for a small independent nerdy store. We were like a hot topic in the sense that we sold nerdy shirts, accessories, and even belt buckles. There were only 2 locations of the store, and one was in a small mall from my small town. When I applied, I was only 16 and looking for work to do part-time because that's what teenagers do. The first warning sign that this was a crappy place to work should have been when they hired me and never wanted a resume or references. They were that desperate for employees. So anyway, work started, and after like 3 days, I was opening, closing, and running the store on my own. Again, this should have been warning sign 2, but I had no retail experience and thought this was normal, so I put on a brave face and would do my best. My best friend for the 3 months I worked there became Phone Guy because when either one of us went to get food, we would watch each other's store and generally keep an eye out. I was never super close with him, but he was chill enough. One Saturday night, Entitled Creep comes into the store and looks around. He's at least 40 and a large, fat, greasy man. I try not to be judgmental at the time and greet him with a typical hello and a smile. He flashed me a grin back and I thought nothing of it. Then he comes to the till.
Hey cutie, I want to get this. Are you a fan of Deadpool?
I am uncomfortable with the nickname. Yeah, I've read a few of the comics and played the video game for it. He's pretty cool.
If you want, I own the
insert local cinema.
If you ever want to see a movie like the upcoming Deadpool movie, you could see it with me.
That's okay. I plan to see it with my dad this weekend. I'm trying to be polite, but I don't have the backbone yet to be firm.
Why wait? How about after you close, I'll come pick you up, okay?
Before I can answer, he takes his stuff, gives me a grimy wink, and leaves. I'm a little shaken at this point and near tears because I don't know what to do. I phone my dad and let him know what happened, and my dad says he'll come pick me up so I don't have to be alone. Phone Guy sees me crying and he got me a booster juice to calm me down, which was really sweet. Closing time comes around and lo and behold, who do I see sitting on a bench watching me while I close up? Entitled Creep. I'm scared pooless at this point because I don't know what to do. I didn't know at the time, but Phone Guy was calling security at that moment. I'm staying inside the store and not locking up until I see my dad, who's staying a few feet away. I finally close down. An entitled customer comes up to me.
Hey sweetie, ready to see the movie?
I freeze in fear as I don't know what to say. My dad walks up behind me. My dad is a big guy. He's a no bullcrap kind of dude with others, but very protective of me.
Excuse me, can you leave her alone? Hey, the frick are you? I'm taking it to a movie. Nothing harmful.
And I'm her father, and you will leave her alone.
She's coming with me. If you don't let her come with me, I'll fire you until she agrees to come with me.
I don't remember a whole lot, but security finally comes up and gets involved. My dad is yelling at this point, and I'm horrified about what's going to happen. Security eventually tells him he needs to leave me alone. As he's walking away, he yells out,
"That slow Lucy smiled at me. She wanted to be hit on. Thinking feminist plays hard again gets mad when guys take action."
My dad helps escort me home, and I arrived at work the next day to announce I am quitting and that this is my last day. I still have PTSD about closing and it still affects me. I'm scared of closing, and thankfully at my new job, I'm never expected to close alone. Anyway, sorry if the story is formatted weird or anything. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Well, that was really creepy. Guys, if you're trying to like pick up a girl while she's at work, first of all, you have to consider the possibility that not every girl wants to be hit on at work or just in general. But if you do want to hit on a girl while she's at work, just don't be creepy, man. There are ways to hit on someone without being creepy and creeping them out. The way this guy did it was not that. Because essentially what he did was try to trap her into freaking interacting with him. Creeping on a girl when she's at work is just really messed up because she's stuck there, man, for hours at a time. Not nice. Thankfully, it worked out okay for OP, and be glad her dad was, so quick to get there. And also, phone kiosk guy. This story's called Entitled Renter Wants Me to Pay His Landlord for Damage I Didn't Cause. Here's the cast. There's me and Entitled Renter. Don't know if it's a guy or a girl. My family and I live in a large building that houses several storefronts on the ground level and apartments on the second level. We own both levels of our portion of the building and have no relationship or communication with the other landlords. We live on the edge of what's considered the bad part of town, and the apartments around us are a revolving door of low-income renters who tend to treat the neighborhood and the people in it like crap. There's a fair amount of drug use in our neighborhood too. The drug use itself really doesn't bother me. People can do what they want to do, but the drug users aren't known for taking good care of their rental units. The landlord next to us rented her upstairs apartment out to some guy and his girlfriend who like to have parties at all hours and blast hard bass so loud that the whole block sounded like a Russian rave. On at least one occasion, my wife saw him and his guests climbing onto the roof so they could shout at traffic on the busy street below us. Really stellar people, you know? The way our building is put together, the entitled neighbor's apartment has a rear walkout that overlooks my fenced-in backyard. At the time, we also ran a business on the ground level of our building that had our telephone number printed on the window. This is important to the story because the backyard is where I let my indoor cats play during the day when we're at home. And the front window is how Entitled Renter got my phone number. So, one day, I get a knock on the door. Entitled Renter is furious because he says that my cat is constantly escaping my yard and climbing up into the soffit fascia above his back door on the rear walkout that overlooks my yard. It's no surprise that he knows I have cats, and he knows what they look like because he can see them in my yard when he's coming and going. Then he says that his landlord is charging him $500 to pay for the repair, and since it's my cat that did the damage, I have to pay him for the cost of the repair. I really didn't believe that my cat was doing this damage. I'm sorry to hear you're having this trouble, but I really don't think my cat did this to your building. Well, he flipped his lid and started screaming and shouting. I finally told him, pics or it didn't happen. He rage quit the conversation and went away. Later that same day, a police officer shows up at my door. Apparently, Entitled Renter thought he could file a complaint and get the police officer's help to mediate a solution. The police officer took a picture of my cats, and the Entitled Renter looked at the picture and swore that's the animal that was causing the damage. But he knows what my cat looks like because he can see them from his yard. The police officer says that he really thinks the damage is being caused by raccoons, which is a likely explanation. But I also suspect that he damaged the soffit fascia thing while climbing onto the roof while high. Nothing could be done, so the officer left. At any rate, this should be covered by his security deposit. And why isn't his landlord the one talking to me instead of him? The next day, I started getting crank calls from anonymous numbers. One guy claimed claimed he saw me hit his car in a parking lot, and another guy said he's been stealing our mail. I laughed at all those callers and told them to get lost. Entitled Renter comes back a few days after that and says that my cat is tearing up the soffit fascia of his apartment at all hours, and if I don't pay, then he's going to put out traps, catch my cat, and then take it to the pound to be euthanized. I said that it's his property, so he can do whatever he wants. But at this point, I'm dead tired of his bullcrap. I told him that my phone number is on the front window and I want him to call me at any hour of the day, no matter what time it is, the very next time he sees or hears my cat damaging his apartment. He huffs off and I look forward to the next phone call. Fast forward a few days and the whole family is going to a barbecue party at a friend's house. We brought the cats inside, locked the house, and left around 3:45 to help with setup. And we came back home at around 10 p.m. after a long day of food and drinks. We never let our cats out at night, so that means that they were inside from 3 p.m. and were still inside the next morning. I got a phone call from Entitled Renter who says that my cat was at it again last night. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear about that. When did it happen? Entitled Renter says that my cat was up there last night at 9 p.m. To which I responded, well, my whole family went to a barbecue yesterday, so my cats were locked inside from 3:30 and they haven't been back out since. And now that I've caught you in a lie, I think you can stop coming after me for this money. To Entitled Renter's credit, he never bothered me again after that. Hey, at least he knows when he's beat, so that's pretty good. That's better than most people. This story's called, Are You Going to Hit My Mom's Wheelchair or Just Stare at It? Posted this on Entitled Parents, but was told you guys would like this. Mobile Reddit user, my apologies, but this story still makes me ponder about what really went on to this day, because it's just so damn confusing on what happened. Here's the cast. There's me, Entitled Daughter, nice mom of Entitled Daughter, park worker. When I was around 16, my friends and I were at Six Flags enjoying our time, and we had been at the park all the way to the very end of the day. We rode this huge roller coaster, and as we got off, we asked this nice park worker if we could ride again without having to go all the way around the building again. There was no line, so it didn't really matter, and he said sure. We would just have to wait on the other side of the exit gate, which was nearby. As we go to the exit gate, there's the nice mother in a wheelchair and the entitled daughter. There were a few people standing around, also waiting for the ride. Now, the way the gate worked, it opened outwards. So as we tried to open the gate, we could barely squeeze through because of the wheelchair making it impossible to open. I didn't think much of this because it must be difficult to be in a wheelchair to begin with. I cannot be bothered by someone just existing in a wheelchair. However, as we tried to close the gate, my foot tapped the wheel as we went to squeeze through, and I gave a quick smile. She returned it and said sorry, keeping my eyes on the wheel to make sure I wouldn't bump into her again, making sure my friends watched out too. But Entitled Daughter, who was about 25 to 30, felt differently about the situation.
Are you going to hit the wheelchair or stare at it, or both?
Excuse me?
You guys seem fine with pushing my mom about, so I ask again. Are you going to hit it or stare at it some more?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do either of those things.
Well, you seemed fine with doing it just now.
Looking at the nice mom, I felt so sorry for her. She looked so tired and exhausted. It honestly just looked like she didn't want to be there or didn't want her daughter to freak out like this. She didn't even say anything about the entire altercation. At this point, I'm really stressed out because at 16, I was really starting to wonder if I had just done something unbelievably rude to somebody with a handicap. So I said sorry and just turned around to drop the subject. The park worker came over and all hell broke loose again. Hello, ma'am. I'm gonna need you to move this wheelchair down a little bit. It's blocking the fire exit.
No, it's fine. We're waiting for my husband. He's on the ride. We'll wait right here.
Ma'am, I don't think you understand. If you wait right here, this blocks the fire exit. This is a huge safety violation. You can move about 5 feet down.
I cannot believe you're doing this to me and my mom. My husband is on the ride. He's right there.
Ma'am, I cannot start the ride until you move a few feet down. You don't even have to leave the exit ramp. I just need this gate to be able to open and close.
I cannot believe this. Mama, help me out here.
Nice mom says literally nothing. Looks very exhausted. I still need you to move. I'm sorry.
Forget this. We will leave. Husband's name. Get off the ride. We're leaving. They're trying to make us leave because of Mama's wheelchair.
After a while of back and forth and more name calling for her husband, a big man sheepishly got off the ride and they all disappeared. My friends and I were directly in between them and couldn't move because of the way everyone was situated. So after the altercation, my friends and I just decided to get out of there. Feel bad for nice mom though. She seemed genuinely very kind. Goodness gracious, okay. Well, that daughter certainly has a lot of misdirected annoyance going on there, or something. I'm thinking she resents her mother for being disabled, and that's why she got all pissy regarding the subject. This story's called Guy Hits on Me During a Funeral, Gets Embarrassed, and Thinks He Deserves a Date. Sadly, one of my coworkers passed away last week. Because of Brovid, the official funeral was very small and family only. So, his department threw him a celebration of life or informal funeral at the park with some of his friends and family over the weekend. I wore a simple black dress and a black face mask. I get to the park and right out of my car, I feel eyes on me. I quickly head to my group, but about halfway there, a guy walks up next to me and starts sweet-talking and complimenting my ass. I know this guy. He's a coworker who clearly doesn't recognize me with a mask on. I pull my mask down and say, "Hey," coworker's name, "great weather we're having," trying to embarrass him. He stutters and backs away from me.
What the hell?
My name. He shouted so loudly that most of the party looked at us. I rolled my eyes and continued into the funeral. After about an hour, he finds me again and tells me I owe him a date for embarrassing him in public. Really? You're using departed coworker's funeral to get a date? Suck my Richard. I made sure the surrounding people heard me. Coworker got a bunch of nasty looks and left shortly after. He doesn't work in my building and I'm a little higher up in the food chain, so I literally have zero loves to give about our interactions. Wow, I guess today's episode just got a bunch of creeps in it. Jeez, man. Well, good job on OP for keeping your poise, right? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.